You can almost feel it, can't you? That heavy, warm air just hanging over the valley.
The kind of stillness that just sits on you. You know something is about to break.
Yeah, exactly. And you're standing there on the crest of this single, low hill. It's the only house for miles.
And below you is everything. The river, the field of ripe corn, just dotted with these little flowers. It's a promise.
It's a promise of a good harvest.
Yeah.
And Lencho the farmer, his whole life is tied up in that field. He's just looking up.
Staring toward the northeast, where the story calls them huge mountains of clouds.
It's an amazing image. He's been watching them all morning. He knows what the earth needs.
It's not just hope, is it? It's a calculation. The corn is perfect. It just needs one thing.
A good shower. And he sees those clouds and he just knows his bet is about to pay off.
So he turns away from this incredible view, just completely sure of himself.
And he says this simple, confident line to his wife.
Character voice Lencho. Now we're really going to get some water, woman.
And that one moment, that perfect intersection of hard work, hope, and what feels like a guarantee from nature, it just sets up everything that's about to go wrong.
It really does. I mean, they say faith can move mountains. But what do you put your faith in when the mountain, or in this case the sky, just completely betrays you?
That's the question at the heart of this whole thing. It's a deep dive into what happens when the physical world just collapses around you.
Okay, so let's get into that moment, that peak of hope right before the crash. It starts with his wife's reply.
Yeah, she's inside getting the meal ready, and her response isn't about the weather. It's about something bigger.
She just says, with this calm acceptance.
Character voice wife.
Yeah.
Yes, God willing.
And it's like the words themselves made it happen, because right then, during the meal, just as he said it would, the rain begins.
Big drops. You can feel the air change immediately. It gets fresh, sweet. That tension from the humidity is just gone.
And Lencho, he can't just sit there and watch. He gets up from the meal.
He has to go outside, not just to look, but to feel the pleasure of the rain on his body.
It's a physical connection, isn't it? It's not just water. For him, it is so much more.
So much more. And when he comes back inside, that's when we get this famous line, this metaphor that shows you exactly how he sees the world.
He's just full of this wonder, this excitement.
Character voice Lencho. These aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little ones are 5s.
New coins. It's so direct. It's not a blessing. It's not a gift from the heavens.
No, it's currency. It's cold, hard cash. He is literally connecting nature's power to his own economic survival.
And the denominations are so specific, right? 10-cent pieces, 5-cent pieces.
Yeah, it's not like he's saying they're gold bars. This is everyday money. The money he needs to live, to transact. He's already calculating the profit from his labor.
The whole field is described as being draped in a curtain of rain. It's this image of luxury, of success.
This is it, the absolute high point, the perfect moment where everything is paid off.
But it's so brief, and the pivot, when it comes, is just, it's shockingly violent.
That look of satisfaction on his face must have just vanished. The wind picks up.
A strong wind, and that pleasant rain turns into something monstrous.
The source material is so blunt about it. Very large hailstones began to fall.
So we have to go back to that coin metaphor he just used.
We do, because the raindrops were new coins, this promise of growth and wealth.
But the hailstones, the story says they truly did resemble new silver coins, and that's where the irony just bites.
It's so bitter. This promise of wealth is now a worthless, frozen, destructive thing. It looks like money, but it's death to his crops.
And the kids, his boys, they run out to collect them. They see frozen pearls.
They see something beautiful. They have no idea they're picking up the instruments of their family's ruin.
And you can just feel Lencho's stomach drop. The dread is immediate.
Character voice Lencho. It's really getting bad now. I hope it passes quickly.
But it doesn't. That's the real cruelty of it. The narrator makes a point of saying it did not pass quickly.
No. It goes on for an hour. A full hour. Think about that. 60 minutes of just being completely helpless, watching everything you've worked for get destroyed.
An hour of that constant battering. On the house, the garden, the hillside, and the cornfield.
It must have felt like an eternity. And when it finally stops, the devastation is just total.
The field is white. The line is as if covered with salt.
And that image of salt is so powerful, isn't it? It's not just about ruin.
No, it's about making the land sterile. Ancient armies used to sow salt in the fields of their enemies to make sure nothing could ever grow there again.
So Lencho is looking at a conquered field, His work has been totally annihilated by this random, brutal force of nature.
This is that classic conflict, right? Human versus nature, and nature just won. Absolutely.
Not a leaf left on the trees. The corn isn't just damaged, it's totally destroyed. Those little flowers that were the promise of pesos, they're gone.
And then the story shifts from that external physical destruction to the internal collapse.
Lencho's soul, it says, was filled with sadness. He just walks out into the middle of his ruined field.
And the way he expresses that loss, it's so specific.
Character voice Lencho's sadness. A plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn.
A plague of locusts? I mean, that's a biblical level of destruction.
And he's saying this was worse. Because locusts might miss a patch, they might leave something behind. Scraps.
But the hail was complete. It was total. It left nothing but that sterile white ruin. It feels personal.
And that night, in that lonely house, they come to this one stark conclusion.
All our work for nothing. There's no one who can help us. We'll all go hungry this year.
They realize no person can fix this. And that moment of absolute human helplessness,
Yeah.
that's the trigger.
That's when you have to find something else. When earthly hope is gone, you reach for something divine.
So even in that house, in the middle of this destroyed valley, there was one single hope left.
Help from God.
And we get this incredible description of Lencho. He's an ox of a man working like an animal in the fields.
It tells you everything about his physical life, his connection to the land. He's all about labor.
But then you get the contradiction. This man who works like an animal also knew how to write.
And that one skill, his literacy, that's the hinge for the entire rest of the story. It lets him turn his faith into an action.
His belief is so simple, so absolute. God's eyes see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience.
He believes God sees not just his suffering, but his essential goodness, his clear conscience.
Right. And because his conscience is clear, he expects a result. This isn't really a prayer.
Yeah.
It's an invoice, a demand.
It is. So Sunday morning at daybreak, he sits down to write. And it's a business letter. It's urgent, and it's incredibly specific.
He's basically treating God like the ultimate bank, the ultimate provider.
And he lays out his needs very clearly.
Character voice Lencho. God, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes because the hailstorm.
Pesos.
Not some money, not a blessing, an exact figure.
Calculated for seed, for tools, for survival, it makes this whole divine request feel unnervingly practical.
He seals it, writes to God on the envelope, and drops it in the mail. And it says he was still troubled.
Of course he was. He's done his part. Now it's up to the postal system and the divine to do theirs.
And this is where his absolute faith just slams right into the mundane reality of a government institution.
The post office, where this bizarre act of faith lands in the hands of ordinary people.
It's a postman who finds it first, a letter addressed to God.
And his reaction is, well, it's what anyone's would be. He starts laughing.
He has to. I mean, in his whole career, he's never seen that address.
The laughter gets the attention of the postmaster. And he's described as a fat, amiable fellow. He seems like a good guy. He joins in the laughter at first, but then something changes.
Yes. This is where the postmaster becomes the secret hero of this story. He stops laughing.
He's holding the letter, sort of tapping it on his desk, and you can see the realization dawning on him. The sheer power of this person's belief.
Character voice postmaster. What faith? I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter.
Yeah.
Starting up a correspondence with God.
He's not feeling pity, he's feeling awe. He is in awe of this farmer's certainty.
And right there, he makes a decision. He has to answer this letter.
And the reason is so profound. It's in order not to shake the writer's faith in God.
It's an incredible act of philosophical empathy. He decides to protect a stranger's spiritual reality, even if it requires, a bit of deception.
He knows that this faith is the only thing holding Lencho together right now.
But to do it, he needs more than just, good intentions and a pen.
He needs cash. 100 pesos, which is not a small amount of money.
So he starts a collection, a remarkable, spontaneous act of charity.
He gives part of his own salary. He asks his employees to chip in.
He even goes to his friends, and they feel, it says, obliged to give something for an act of charity.
So this whole little community rallies around this one abstract principle. We have to protect the stranger's hope.
They're trying to counteract the cold, random cruelty of the hailstorm with some real human warmth.
But even with all that effort, all that goodwill, they can't make it.
No. They managed to scrape together 70 pesos, a little more than half.
And that shortfall, those missing 30 pesos, that's where all the tension of the climax is going to come from.
Because Lencho asked for 100. He asked for what he calculated he needed. The postmaster delivers survival, the 70 pesos, but it's an imperfect solution.
It's a human solution. Sacrificial, generous, but flawed, and Lencho's faith has no room for flaws.
So the postmaster puts the 70 pesos in an envelope and signs the letter with just one word.
God, the illusion has to be perfect.
And the next Sunday, he's watching from his office, feeling that contentment, the feeling you get when you've done a really good deed.
He's seeking no credit, just the satisfaction of knowing he saved a man's faith.
Let's just pause on that for a second. We have this perfect act of human kindness, of warmth, designed to support this absolute divine certainty.
But what happens when that certainty is so rigid, so absolute, that it can't bend enough to accept human imperfection?
This is where we can start thinking about those ideas of fire and ice. The postmaster's action is pure fire in the positive sense, right? Warmth, compassion, charity.
Yes, and he's using it to fight the ice of Lencho's despair. But as we're about to see, Lencho has his own kind of destructive fire.
So the stage is set. Lencho shows up the next Sunday, earlier than usual. He's not hoping for a letter. He's expecting one.
The postman himself hands it to him. And the detail here is just, it's incredible.
Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money.
Think about that. No shock, no relief, no gratitude. His confidence was so total that doubt was just. It wasn't even possible.
He wasn't hoping God answered. He was just collecting on a debt he was owed. His faith wasn't a hope. It was a law of the universe to him.
And this is where we really have to dig into his character. I mean, is this faith admirable, or is it just dangerously inflexible?
The analysis we read uses words like greedy and ungrateful. Is that fair? Or is he just a product of this unquestioning belief system he has?
I think it's a bit of both. Because the second he counts the money, that certainty just curdles into rage.
Right. Because in his mind, there's no possibility God made a mistake.
And God certainly wouldn't have denied his request. God knows he needs 100 pesos.
Character voice Lencho, internal thought. So if the full amount isn't here, there's only one possible explanation.
Someone stole it. Human corruption.
That's the tragic outcome of his kind of faith. It erases the possibility of human kindness and leaves only room for human malice.
His reaction is instant. It's hot. It's indignant. It is that destructive fire. He marches right to the window for paper and ink.
And you see his anger physically.
Yeah.
His brow is wrinkled from the effort of trying to express his ideas, his outrage.
He's not grateful for the 70 pesos he received. He's consumed by the 30 pesos that are missing.
He finishes the letter, licks the stamp, and sticks it on the envelope with a blow of his fist.
It's such a violent, angry gesture.
Meanwhile, the postmaster, who was still feeling pretty good about his secret charity project, sees the letter drop into the mailbox.
He goes to get it right away. He's excited. He wants to see the happy ending he created.
He opens it, probably expecting a letter full of thanks and praise for God.
And instead, he gets the punchline. The brutal, devastating twist.
Delivered with Lencho's typical, unwavering certainty.
Character voice Lencho. God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest, since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lencho.
Oh, it's excruciating.
The very people who sacrificed their own money to protect his faith.
The postmaster who gave his own salary, the employees who gave what little they could,
are now branded a bunch of crooks.
It's this heartbreaking collision. The postmaster's good intention just smashes into Lencho's rigid perception.
His blind faith made him interpret a human imperfection, the 70 pesos, as a criminal act.
And that's the real human conflict, isn't it? Lencho's faith, in the end, it makes him blind. It makes him completely ungrateful for the kindness that was right in front of him.
So that fire of his, that entitlement, that desire for a perfect outcome, it completely burns up the warmth of the post office's charity.
But, to play devil's advocate for a second, is it possible he's not just greedy?
What do you mean?
Well, he's desperate. Maybe for him, 70 pesos means they won't starve. But 100 pesos means he can actually rebuild his life, replant his field.
That's fair. The stakes are incredibly high. But still, to not even acknowledge the 70 he got, to immediately jump to calling them thieves.
It suggests there's no room for nuance in his worldview. He never even considers that maybe God works through people. He just assumes corruption.
And that response is pure ice. It's a cold, hard condemnation. He meets the postmaster's warmth with this chilling accusation.
The hailstorm destroyed Lencho's corn. But this second letter, it destroys the postmaster's contentment just as completely.
It's a different kind of destruction. One is from nature, the other from human certainty.
Okay, so let's shift gears now. We're moving from that epic external disaster in Lencho's Valley to a much smaller, more internal world.
Yes, the world of the poet Robert Frost, where we explore how destruction and transformation can happen on a much more personal, subtle level.
We'll start with Dust to Snow. It's a tiny poem, just 8 lines, but it captures this huge emotional shift.
And the setup is just drenched in negative symbolism. The poet is having a bad day, a day he rued, he says, a day of regret.
And he finds himself under a crow.
Which is, not usually a good sign. Crows are often symbols of death, of bad omens.
And the crow is sitting in a hemlock tree.
A poisonous tree, famously the poison that killed Socrates. So you've got a death bird on a death tree?
The scene is set for complete and utter misery. He's already written the day off as a loss.
And then this tiny, unintentional thing happens.
Character voice poet. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued.
The catalyst is so small, a dust of snow, it's almost nothing.
But it's this pure, white, gentle thing that comes from this dark, ominous setup.
And that little physical sensation, that dusting of cold snow, is enough to break his train of thought. It interrupts his cycle of regret.
It saves the day. It's a reminder that even when you're surrounded by symbols of darkness, a tiny, unexpected moment of grace can change everything.
It really gets at that idea from Frost that a little thing touches a larger thing.
Yes. Lencho's world was ruined by a huge thing, a hailstorm. But Frost shows us that salvation can come from a tiny thing, a dusting of snow. The scale doesn't determine the significance.
Yeah, let's look at Fire and Ice. This poem takes that idea of destruction and applies it not to nature, but to, well, us, to human emotion.
Lencho's world ended because of the weather. Frost here is wondering how the world will end because of what's inside of us.
He starts by laying out the two main theories.
Character voice poet. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire.
And fire here is all those hot, consuming emotions, right? Greed, conflict, lust, fury.
It's the world ending in this spectacular blaze of passion and want.
And you can tie that directly back to Lencho, that hot fury when he counted the money, that demanding desire for the full 100 pesos. That's a little flicker of the world-ending fire of desire.
But Frost doesn't just leave it there. He gives equal weight to the opposite.
Character voice poet. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice.
And ice is the cold emotions. Hatred, indifference, intolerance, rigidity.
It's the world ending not with a bang, but with a slow, creeping freeze. An absence of warmth, an absence of feeling.
Which brings us right back to Lencho and the postmaster.
Right.
Lencho's final letter, calling them crooks. That is an act of pure ice.
His faith is so rigid, so cold in its certainty, that it makes him completely insensitive to the human warmth he was offered.
The postmaster's charity was an act of fire, of warmth, trying to melt Lencho's despair.
And Lencho's reply was an act of ice. A cold condemnation that was more than enough, as the poem says, to destroy the postmaster's good feeling.
So as we bring these stories together, we see these two major conflicts playing out. First, there's the big one. The raw, uncontrollable power of nature in the hailstorm.
And then there's the second, much trickier one, the conflict between humans, which is all about misinterpretation and mismatched intentions.
It all comes down to those 70 pesos. They were an act of human compassion, but they were disguised as a divine miracle.
And Lencho's faith, which was so powerful, was also his greatest weakness. It was so flawless in his mind that it couldn't accommodate a flawed human reality.
The money wasn't a miracle. It was a sacrifice. And the very people who made that sacrifice were the ones he called thieves.
Their entire effort was to save his faith, and his faith, in return, condemned them.
That's the final, painful irony that just hangs in the air at the end.
Yep.
You're left thinking about the postmaster.
A good man whose act of kindness got him labeled a crook by the very person he was trying to save. His contentment was shattered.
Character voice profound statement. The greatest threat to faith may not be doubt or hardship, but the absolute certainty that blinds us to the kindness surrounding us.
Yeah. We're left trying to square the postmaster's generosity with Lencho's shocking ingratitude. And you have to wonder, Was Lencho's real problem the ice from the sky or the fire of entitlement inside him?
Which leaves us with the big provocative question to think about. If Lencho had received the full 100 pesos, would he ever have known the difference between the mercy of God and the messy, sacrificial mercy of men?